Hi boys and girls, good morning or good afternoon whenever you're watching this. I wanted to wish you a happy Earth Day week. Earth Day is Wednesday, April 22nd, and we're going to be doing some activities this week that relate to Earth Day. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to be reading this book, Philippe and Monet's Garden. My younger students are really going to enjoy this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to be creating some art with objects from around the house. So here I have a paper towel roll. I also have an egg carton. We looked at some of these last week if you watched our video. So let's get started. Philippe and Monet's Garden by Lisa Jobe Carmack, illustrated by Lisa Canney Chesaux. This story takes place in France, so let's check it out. Bistro, special of the day. Frog legs. This story begins in a frightful way. Frog legs, special of the day. That doesn't sound so good for our friend Philippe the frog. In the city of Paris, as everyone knows, frog legs are eaten except for the toes. They are buttered and baked and sometimes fried, and the bigger the better is always the guide. A train ride away in the French countryside lived a frog named Philippe with a marvelous stride. He got his name because of his leap, which was the biggest and grandest, just like his feet. Philippe liked to play in his pond every day, and he tried not to mind when his friends were unkind. Tee-hee, ha-ha. You're a dumb-looking frog, they teased the unhappy Philippe. Your thighs are too long, your shape is all wrong. You can't be our friend, you just don't belong. It's not very nice. The frog catcher crept with his big trusty net as they bullied Philippe and made fun of his feet. Oh no, it's not fair, they cried in despair. Philippe in your net is a far better bet. Big feet or not, I haven't been caught. These legs won't be buttered and baked or fried. But as for you, well, I bid you goodbye. Leap, leap, Philippe, he heard the sheep bleat, and he kept on hoppin'. There was no time for stoppin', and he made his escape from a gruesome fate. Just when Philippe was all out of leap, he came to the gate of the Monet estate. And reading the sign, which suited him fine, he begged Monet's pardon and entered the garden. Monet's garden, no frog hunting. Oh my, what a size! I can't believe my eyes, exclaimed the painter Monet. What a physique! Those legs are très magnifiques. You're the perfect addition to my garden, not my kitchen. Philippe's grin grew a mile wide. He wouldn't be buttered and baked or fried. This smile became his only expression because Monet's garden made quite an impression. Monet showed him the pond of which he was fond, where he painted the light between daybreak and night. And as for Philippe, there were bugs of all kinds, green ones and pink ones on which he could dine. So Philippe found a home to call his own, and Monet added some green to his painterly scene. All right, so Claude Monet is a French Impressionist artist, and he's most famous for painting these water lilies on the pond. So it makes sense that that would be a good home for the frog Philippe. All right, I hope you enjoyed this story. Let's get started on our art project. All right, after reading our story about Philippe the frog, let's jump right into our art. I'm going to use a paper towel roll, but you could also use a toilet paper roll. I'm sure we have a lot of those laying around the house. And you're going to need something to change the color of it. So there's a couple different ways you could do that. You could use markers to color it. We won't be using the whole thing. I'm going to show you how to cut it. You could use a paint. Maybe you have acrylic paint. Maybe you have watercolor paint. Any paint should work. You could also use tape to cover it. I have some painter's tape from when I painted this room, actually. And you could also use paper. So those are some options for changing the color of your toilet paper tube. I just showed you everything that was green, but not all the frogs are green. There's some blue ones that live in the rainforest, yellow ones, sometimes the ones that are really bright colors. That means that they're poisonous, so it's kind of a warning sign to their predators. So if you want to make a different color frog, go for it. I also gathered up some materials because I'm going to need to make legs for my frog, and I'm going to show you those steps. So I grabbed some things out of the recycling because remember, we're reusing different things because it's Earth Day week. And so I grabbed this box. This is from my vegetable noodles. So the whole box is green. So there's all these different cool values of green that I could use for my frog legs. And also this art magazine that I'm done reading, and it has all these cool greens on the cover and even some on the back that I could cut some shapes out. So if you want to go and gather your materials, I'll meet you back here in a couple of minutes. Now that we have our materials, we're going to start with the size of a toilet paper tube or trim our tube to be about that size. Next, you're going to either paint, color, or cover your tube with paper with whatever color you want. It could be green, or remember, it could be any color because we see frogs of all different colors in nature. To create the shape of the frog, we are going to close up one end of it. You could use glue, a staple, or a piece of tape. Next, we're going to draw our frog's legs. The back legs are kind of shaped like an S with a little foot on the end, and then the other side you'll make like a backwards S. The front legs you can make more straight, almost like an animal's paw. I'm drawing them on multiple surfaces because I've created multiple examples, but you only need to draw one set if you've only done one frog. Next, you're going to cut out your frog's legs. Remember, when we're cutting, you want to continue to turn your paper, steering it into your scissors. We never want to turn our scissors towards our own body. When you cut your legs, remember to leave a little extra on the end, like a tab, so that you can place the tape or glue on that part and it will still stick out from your tube. Glue or tape your legs to the underside of your frog by placing the glue or tape right on that tab part that we talked about, the extra part. Hold it in place for a second if you use glue, or if you use tape, remember to rub it in place so that it stays. The last step in assembling our frog is to create the eyes. You could paint the eyes on or draw them on with a white oil pastel if you have it, or I created mine out of paper. I drew a circle and then I created that tab. Right now it kind of looks like a skull, but that tab part's going to be folded over when I glue or tape it on. I'm going to cut them the same way I did with the legs, slowly and turning my scissors, and then I'm going to fold the tab down, put the glue or tape on that part, and attach it to the top of my frog, right by the mouth. Last, I'm going to take the tongue that I drew, I'm going to draw some details on it, like the line down the middle and a fly on the end. I'm going to put glue on the back side of it. I'm going to reach deep into my frog's mouth and stick it in there. Once you're done with your frogs, you need to think about where they will live. I know first grade learns about ponds in the springtime. So I started thinking about that, and then I had a great idea. You can make your own board game. You could use paper or an old cereal box. Maybe it's a math game. Land on a number and count by 2s or 5s, or do a multiplication problem. Or maybe it's a word game, or spelling, or Pictionary. The possibilities are endless. You could use dice or a timer from another game, but the most important thing to remember is that you need to write down the rules so all the players know and so that the game is fair. How fun that we were able to reuse some materials from around the house, make art, and we created an activity for our family to do together. Looks like I have an opponent ready to play me in my game. So let's check in with Mrs. Cunningham and see what she's created.